What's up, guys? Welcome back to the WCS America Challenger League. You know exactly what's going on. 1-1 Demuslim XY. I'm starting the game. No delay whatsoever.
Very exciting set of games here. That second game was insane.
Yeah.
Demuslim's like, I'm going to build a third CC, and I have one tank. And XY's like, I'm going to kill you. And the tank just blows up. And he's like, no, run away, run away. And then XY's like, okay, time to go 5 CCs off of 2 factories. And then he saw the Cloak Banshees actually did a ton of damage to him as well.
Oh yeah, and like I mean that first like it was scanned, and we're like, all right, this is not gonna work. And then just Demuslim stuck with it, stayed true to his strategy. Like, you know what? I'm gonna keep sending those Cloak Banshees in, and you're eventually gonna break. And that kind of happened. Demuslim able to get damage done throughout that game with the Cloak Banshees. What an amazing game that was. So dynamic. And another one of those games like you've kind of never really seen something like that before. But, you know, definitely setting an awesome story here, an awesome stage for this game number 3. I have the pleasure of introducing our 2 players, beginning with, in the top right-hand location, the blue Terran player hailing from China, representing Team Invictus Gaming. He is XY. His opponent, in the bottom left-hand location, representing Team Evil Geniuses, your red Terran player, fell down in Game 1, able to equalize in Game 2. He is Demuslim. Again, the winner of this game will stay alive in the Challenger League bracket stage and will face off against the STC. Of course, that match will be either Wednesday or Thursday. And again, the loser of all of these matches are not out of WCS America. They will drop to the Challenger League group stage, where the top 3 stay in WCS America. 4th is out. The top 2 go to Premier League. So most of the people that you're going to actually see losing in all these matches are actually going to be in Premier League. Or half of them, at least.
Yes.
To be a little bit more mathematically correct.
Exactly half of the losers. Of course, the winners of these matches will have one final match.
Yep.
If they win that, they go straight to Premier League, which is much preferable to falling out in those groups where, like you said, only half the people will advance.
A lot more chance. You have to play more games. You can't prepare as well because you have groups of 4.
And you might get stuck in a group with either Polt or Tasia, because one of those guys is dropping down. You might get stuck in a group with Illusion, with either Demuslim or XY, with Maxed, who's already been knocked down to the group stage.
Oz, Sage, Jaedong.
You don't want to be in a group of Oz, Sage, and Jaedong, man. That's you're like this is like the group play of the challenger bracket of WCS America, but you know what? This is an insanely
every single match, every single game in WCS America, both Premier League and Challenger League, is not going to be a walk in the park. So these games are very important. But the decider here again, the game 3 of this best of 3, guys. Get on Twitter, hashtag WCS. Get on Team Liquid. Get on Reddit. Talk about these matches. Hop in the Twitch chat. Of course, if you're watching this live, you have the ability to do that and chat a little bit. I think. You know, you guys watching on YouTube, you can put some comments in the YouTube comments down below and have a little conversation there. I saw a lot of debate on a match from yesterday about ZVT. There's like 30 comments on a video with like 400 views, which is pretty interesting.
A lot of people interested in talking about StarCraft. Both players this game are going for the expansion before tech. Demuslim, of course, scouted this game. His opponent has not scouted, and that's why Demuslim felt free to add that reactor on, whereas XY wants to get 4 Marines just in case there's some early Reaper shenanigans, and he doesn't want to be stuck with only 2 and having 2 Reapers pop up, kill the Marines, and then kill everything else right after that. So it's going to be a fairly even game. Of course, losing that Scout and SCV is always not fun for Demuslim, but at least he saw the exact build. He knows there's no threat at Cloak Banshee, whereas XY is still in the dark, at least until he can get maybe reactor out Hellions or send something out across the map.
And if you think about this best of 3 as a whole, like obviously XY going up against the same thing from Demuslim. Demuslim opening the same exact way in the initial 2 games, and in the long run, able to get a ridiculous amount of damage done with his Cloak Banshees each and every time. So, you know, it's a little bit of an interesting development. Demuslim changing his strategy in Game 3, and now XY is going to be a little bit in the dark. He might be worrying about this Banshee play again, and he might have to expend his scan later on. Who knows? So, pretty cool so far. Of course, we're seeing an armory. Muslim. I see Nick wiggling in his chair a little bit.
Yeah, I am, and in fact, we're seeing armory from both players here. It's going to be hellbat on hellbat action. Who's better at making these hellbats? Who's better at microing the drops? XY is a little bit faster with his starport there, and that could be an advantage or a disadvantage. It really, it kind of depends. Sometimes it's actually the person who launches the attack first it means that your opponent actually has all the units still at home and is more prepared to defend it. So,
You see the armory?
no, I
Oh,
don't.
it's just outside this guy on the left.
Oh, and neither player.
Oh,
Both player
we got it.
Demuslim scanning, and he's not seen the armory either. So,
Oh, this is like identical. Can they know though?
you can be suspicious
Yeah.
if there's no add-on on the medevac. You're gonna know it's add-on on the starport. Yeah,
You're gonna know it's a medevac.
you can know it's draw play, and it's often Widow Mines. It's sometimes Hellions, and it often is followed up with Hellbats. But you can't be for sure, but you can definitely put it as something that might happen. See, XY already moving out with an initial drop pre-Hellbat
Yeah.
with Hellions and Widow Mines. Widow Mines are so annoying if you can put them inside your opponent's natural.
Yeah. Oh, I think he smelled it. He's pulling the Widow Mine back. What Demuslim is to his natural expansion, but here comes the 2 Widow Mines. And one Widow Mine killing another one. You don't see that every day. But SCV is a little bit vulnerable, going to try to surrounds one Hellion, but the Widow Mine is dropped into the ground. What is he going to target? Just one SCV, not bad at all for Demuslim. Can he take down this medevac though?
Looks like he was trying to take it down. The Hellions are now in the main. Demuslim has nothing there to defend.
Sending one Hellion back, getting a second forward. And he's going to pick up and get out of there. Meanwhile, Demuslim sending his own medevac across the map with Hellbats inside. Widow Mine is still there at the natural, by the way, of Demuslim.
Oh, this could be so annoying in a few seconds. It's going to go off.
He has to know it's there, right?
I think he might have forgotten about it.
He might let it go off and then pick up again. All right, meanwhile, we got a Hellbat drop in the main base of XY is to react immediately, sending those SCVs away, but Demuslim igniting the afterburner is going to try to follow and get a lot of kills on these SCVs. Can he make it happen? Getting a few more, but let's see here. Workers killed is 6-6.
Not too many. The Widow Mine is still a natural.
Yeah.
It's actually, it's about to get another shot off.
With Hellbat's just walking around the main base of XY from Demuslim, 3 inside. Where are the defenses? Oh, we got another Widow Mine kill.
It just keeps killing SCVs there.
Get a scan.
Finally, the Vikings coming to drive off those Hellbats.
Okay.
Hellbats being abandoned. And they're like, what do we do now? They're kind of walking around a little bit awkwardly in the main of XY.
Oh, no, he can track those SCVs. Oh, my God. Oh, no, a disaster for XY. Demuslim just did a fist pump. He's up to 23 kills to his opponent's 13, but XY wants revenge, trying to drop Hellbats in his opponent's main and natural expansion, and he's getting a lot of damage done, so that fist pump just turned into the opposite of whatever that is.
I don't even, they're
Workers
both,
dying everywhere.
I don't know who's lost more at this point.
They're even on harvesters.
Okay, it looks like they're almost even on workers. They're actually somehow perfectly even.
That Widow Mine is still there. I'm like actually bothered by this. No, it's
It's gonna go again. Some SCVs are clumped. It could get 3 kills. It's placed perfectly. Oh, it only gets 1. But the next time, all these SCVs are so hurt. The next time the splash will start kicking in.
The Muslim catching some medics.
He has more
medevac.
Vikings. That's very important.
The Widow Mine is still there. Okay, there it goes. There's a scan.
Widow Mine just really did a number.
All right, so Demuslim going across the map. He wants to get some damage done. He's a little bit of a supply lead, 61 to 71, 65. And again, he has that air control, so he can take down medevac from his opponent. And if his opponent doesn't have any Vikings,
XY just put a lot of SCVs into his main base.
oh,
And now they're in for the roasting.
medevac's coming in. The Hellbat's being dropped. Demuslim, a great drop there, taking down more SCVs from his opponent.
And with air control, there's nothing.
He can just camp over the starport.
Yeah.
Like he's not making Marines or anything, unless he has a Widow Mine coming out. Is this like almost like a little bit of a checkmate situation?
I feel like it might be, as long as he keeps those Hellbats in the medevac. XY realizes that he's going to continue to take damage from this harass. So he's trying to do a counterattack on the ground, thinking that he has an advantage in pure Hellbat numbers. But they're so slow that crossing the map without medevac support, by the time they get across the map, the Muslim should be more than prepared.
The Muslim still being really annoying with the medevac dropping Hellbats, singeing away his opponent's stuff. Some Marines coming up here to try to deal with this, but
Yeah,
the Muslim is in a great position, I think. He's up 89 to 65. The Hellbat's going to be shooed away, and he has medevacs. He's going to be able to trap some.
Oh, 2 of them going the wrong way, segregating from the group. The Muslims is basically like the cheetah hunting the antelope pack. When they go off to the side, you hunt them down, and that's exactly what he's done. He might even beat the other Hellbats back to the base and cut them off.
Also, meanwhile, a medevac starport, Viking popping on the starport for XY, but the Muslim still had the 3 Vikings there, so taking it out right as it pops out.
Oh, going again to the main.
The Muslim might be going for the win here. 2 medevacs heading forward. Is he going to go for the direct engagement? pretty bold move.
I think he has more Hellbats, and he has the Vikings, and he has great concave by dropping them on the top side.
Demuslim trying to end this right here, right now. Again, the series is tied 1-1. The winner of this will advance on in the WCS America Challenger League bracket stage. The Vikings even landing, and Demuslim has a 93-54 supply advantage. The natural expansion is completely exposed. Only Hellbats on the way for XY, but there's no way he can make enough to deal with this, and I think Demuslim might be able to take this.
Wow, this is a really interesting game and super informative too. If it's Hellbat versus Hellbat, whoever has more Vikings seems to win.
Demuslim takes victory. That was a crazy game there. Game number 3. I definitely enjoyed it, but just Hellbats flying around everywhere. At first we thought, you know, XY had a big advantage. Then we thought Demuslim had a big advantage. And then it was all equal. But then just the importance of the Vikings.
I mean, it's basically Hellbat versus Hellbat. Medivacs are like the most important thing because the Medivacs give you the ability to maneuver around the Hellbats as well as heal them. And it's whoever has more Vikings, like you said, is the person you can have Medivacs because you can't have Medivacs if your opponent has more Vikings. They just kill them all.
Yeah, absolutely right. A crazy game, a crazy series. That's one of those series that you're going to tell your friends, all right, go back and watch that on YouTube because that was awesome, or catch the rebroadcast. But Demuslim taking out XY 2-1, very well played by him. And I think we have some brackets to show you fairly soon. But you know, Demuslim, you know, having to come back. Remember, he lost the first game, but then he had to win. He had to win 2 in a row there. But showing a lot of poise, a lot of strength, and showing that he's one to look out for in the future of WCS America.
He is. Demuslim is, you know, verse maker. He eked by 2-1.
Yeah.
Now eking by 2-1 again. Maybe that's his theme of the day. You know, 2-1's as good as a 2-0. And then of the game, you advance one way or the other.
Yeah. Well, speaking of which, let's take a look at the finalized brackets for WCS America again. All these matches you're going to see over the next 2 days. Again, 6 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Thursday. Top versus Apocalypse, Major versus Violet, Scarlet versus Jim, and Sen versus Theognis on one half of the bracket. Winner of all those advanced to the Premier League. And again, on the other half, we have some equally as amazing games. Kapach versus Nesty, Puck versus Suppy, Polt versus Tasia, and the STC versus Demuslim. That being said, let's take a look at what's coming up tomorrow. Again, beginning at 6 p.m. Eastern. These are going to be your matches. Starting off with Scarlet versus Jim, followed by Nesty, Kapach, Apocalypse, Top, and Polt versus Tasia. The winner of each of these matches will advance on into the Premier League of Season 2. So very important matches indeed. You do not want to miss it. Again, tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern.
A lot of amazing matches. That last one, Polt versus Tasia, should be a mind-blowing match here. Both those guys could be in the finals of WCS America, but yet, you know, they've had some losses, and they're in the they're basically finding out in that Challenger division to see which one will advance straight to the Premier League and which one will have to try to fight their way through that Challenger group play. Anything
can happen in the group stages too, but with so many ridiculously good names involved in those. But definitely a lot of awesome action, StarCraft 2 action coming your way in WCS America. Guys, remember, this weekend we have the finals of the Season 1 of WCS America. We're going to find out which 5 players are going to join the existing 11 that have already qualified for the global season finals that, of course, are going to be in Korea, not too far from Mal. But coming up next on this stream, I think we have some rules of engagement action.
Indeed. In fact, I know a lot of people are super excited for the WCS America playoffs coming up this weekend. So today, we're going to analyze some of the games from one of these contestants. Of course, it's going to be Snoot taking a look at his round of 16 matches against Nesty and Alicia. Some really inspiring play from the Norwegian Zergner. We'll see more of him this weekend. You can kind of get a little of a pre-show of the type of strategies he uses coming up next in Rules of Engagement.
Of course, looking forward to that. And guys, that wraps it up for today. Thank you so much for watching. This has been the WCS America Challenger League. On behalf of axslav, myself, axeltoss, and everyone here at MLG, we appreciate you stopping by and checking out the stream. Again, tune in every single day at 6 p.m. Eastern as WCS America continues. We got the final round of the Challenger League bracket coming up tomorrow. We'll see you then.